Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and we're here today with special guest, Etay Maor, Chief Security Strategist at Cato Networks, who's joining us for the details on the 2025 Cato CTRL Threat Report. GenAI's popularity is exploding with tools like DeepSeek, Microsoft Copilot, and OpenAI's ChatGPT leading the way. However, are these tools safe? Well, today's guest is here to share with us just that. Etay Maor is a Chief Security Strategist at Cato Networks, a founding member of Cato CTRL, and an industry-recognized cybersecurity researcher. Maor is an adjunct professor at Boston College and is part of the Call for Papers Committee for the RSA Conference and Qubits Conference. He holds a master's degree in counterterrorism and cyberterrorism and a bachelor's degree in computer science. So welcome to the show, Etay Maor.
Hi, thank you for having me.
What an honor it is to have you here and to talk about this. Let's just dive right into this. About the report findings, can you share that with us and what you've discovered?
Sure. So for those who are unfamiliar, Cato Networks is one of the fastest growing cybersecurity companies, and we just recently released our 2025 Cato Threat Report. In the report, we actually go into detail about how using narrative engineering, we're able to convince all the leading AI tools out there to create password stealing software for us. For those who are unfamiliar, narrative engineering means we actually persuaded the AIs that they're living in a world where creating malicious software and viruses is actually a good thing. So we actually jailbroke them, removed the guardrails, and they actually helped us create this information stealing software.
Oh my goodness. So what does this mean for consumers?
So for consumers, it means we will probably see a lot more types of Trojans and malicious software that can steal passwords out there because everybody can now perform this. So for any consumer out there, here are kind of like 3 tips for your passwords. Number 1 is never use the same password for multiple websites. Even if it's a strong password, then you make it inherently weak. Number 2 is always use 2-factor authentication. I know it can be a hassle sometimes to set up and use, but it will make sure that you're not the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to stealing passwords and identities. And number 3 is to always change your password on a regular basis. Never keep the same password for too long, because if it gets stolen, then the attackers can potentially use it.
So we really shouldn't be using our pets' names for part of our passwords or anything like that most people kind of do?
Yeah, in general, you don't want to use stuff that's easy to guess or something that even anybody who goes on your social media can figure out. You always want to use something that's hard to guess, I don't want to say hard to remember, but something that a computer or an attacker would have a hard time identifying and trying to get access into. In general, you want to have a combination of lowercase, uppercase, numbers, symbols, and so on, but keep to those 3 basic tips.
So what else should we know from this report?
I think one of the most interesting aspects detailed in the report is that we're now in a new era. We call it the zero-knowledge threat actor, because anybody with access to these generative AI tools can now create these malicious software. If you think about it, in the past, if you wanted to create viruses and malware, you needed to have specialized knowledge, specialized hardware, and so it's not something that's very common. It takes years to develop. Now, on the other hand, anybody who has access to these tools and knows how to use narrative engineering and persuade them to remove the different guardrails that they have can produce these different malicious software. And so we're going to see more threat actors and more threats out there, unfortunately.
So with all of this in mind, and as a consumer, should I be concerned about using Gen AI tools?
So generative AI tools are great. They're very helpful in to be productive and to help you do things better and faster. But you should be aware that about what these tools are learning about you, what you also potentially are giving them. When you're asking them questions or uploading files or uploading information, just be aware that this is not private information anymore. That's for the consumer. On the business side, businesses should be aware that employees are using these types of tools at their job. Again, not for being malicious or anything, just to become more productive. And so the businesses need to have a way to identify and control these tools. Cato actually offers a platform and a tool to identify and to set policies for these different generative AI tools that are out there.
So how does this impact the cybersecurity landscape differently compared to traditional threats?
So I think what we're seeing over the past almost 15 years, and now it's accelerated with generative AI tools, is there's a continuous lowering of the bar to become a criminal. If in the past you needed to have specialized knowledge and specialized tools, when the internet appeared, you all of a sudden, if you're a bad person, you could buy these different products. You didn't have to develop them. Later came services. So crime as a service, you could hire bad people to do this for you. And now you don't need even these things. You can actually just go to a generative AI tool and create these malicious software. So there's a constant shift, there's a constant lowering of the bar, and that is why we can expect in the cybersecurity industry to see more types of threats and more people engage these generative AI tools to create malicious capabilities.
So I'm sure people want to read this report. Where can they go to learn more about it?
So you can actually find the report on catonetworks.com/report. You'll find also a lot of other information there. You'll find blogs about this topic, videos and masterclasses. So there's a wealth of information that we share.
Well, my goodness, Etay, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. And knowledge is power. So make sure to go over to catonetworks.com/report and download this report. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Mary Ann, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Mary Ann is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Mary Ann will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmaryann.com for more information.